Be'ezat Hashem, Na'aseh v'natziach, and I will welcome you to another session of Torah Nuggets, Parashat Vayechi. This Divrei Torah will be to the Refuah Shelema of Avraham ben Zohara. In this week's parasha, we have Yaakov Avinu giving the parting blessings to his children right before his passing. It's very interesting. When we get to the beracha of Issachar, it says, Issachar chamor garem rovetz ben mishpatayim. The Issachar is a strong-boned donkey that he rests between the boundaries. Rashi reveals to us as just like the donkeys have strong bones and they're able to carry heavy loads, similarly is Issachar. Issachar is very strong because he's able to carry the load, just like a donkey carries a load. He carries the load of the Torah learning, the heavy load of the yoke of heaven upon him. Interestingly enough, this seemingly strange blessing, as well as the use of the analogy of a donkey, has a very interesting backdrop story to it. I'd like to share with you Midrash Agadah that discusses this blessing. It says, Issachar chamor garem, that the blessing that was given to Issachar, Al tikri garem ela garam. Don't read the words garem, rather read the word as garam, meaning it caused, that the donkey caused Issachar. What does that mean? So it tells us very briefly a story. I'll read it and translate it. Halach Reuven basadeh umatza dudaim. Reuven went to the field and he found dudaim, those special berries that help people get pregnant. Velo haya yoda mahem, and Reuven himself did not know what they were. So he tied up his donkey to this little plant, and he went over to the field to his business. Ma'asa chamor ratza livroach v'na'karu dudaim v'tzaku tzaka gedola u'met chamor. It says, what happened? The donkey wanted to run away, and by trying to run away, he uprooted this dudaim bush, tree, whatever you want to call it. And the dudaim yelled out a strong yell, and it was such a strong sound that it caused the donkey to die. Why? Ki ken derech hadudaim. That's the way of the dudaim. That's the way of this plant, that when they get uprooted, they give out a scream. When Reuven came and saw the donkey and he saw that it died, he realized that it was the dudaim that killed the donkey. He gave those dudaim to his mother Leah, who at that moment was having difficulties giving birth. And from that, and after taking those dudaim, Issachar was born. And that donkey that took out the dudaim, he's the one that called Issachar to be born. Al ken amar Issachar lo garem lo she'avo ki im hachamor, meaning that the donkey caused the Issachar to come. What is this Midrash talking about? Well, we have to know a little bit about the dudaim. The dudaim are called the mandrake plant. It's a hybrid between vegetation and animal. In God's world, there are hybrids in between the four elements. Not the four elements, but the four. We have the four different states of life. There is domem, tzomeach, chai, medaber. Domem is the inanimate, like a rock. Tzomeach is vegetation. Chai is the animal. Medaber is the human being. In between each one of these states of creation, there is a hybrid. Between a rock and a plant, there is a hybrid creation, which is called the coral. Coral is a rock that grows like a plant in the ocean. In between vegetation and an animal is the dudaim, is the mandrake. It's in between a plant and in between an animal. And it says that this plant has very special features. Anybody who takes this berry fruit, when they eat it, it helps them to conceive. However, this plant is also called anshe sadeh, and it's very dangerous. Its defense mechanism is that it lets out a very big scream, and when it lets out a big scream, that scream is able to kill. So we, as a matter of fact, for those of you who ever watched the Harry Potter movies, when they pulled the mandrake plant, these little plants, and they started to scream, they got it from us. It's the dudaim plant. So nevertheless, when we come to this Midrash Haggadah, we see that Reuven tied his donkey to these dudaim plant. They pulled it out. The scream killed the donkey. He brought the dudaim home, and there I want to take you to something interesting. I want to take you to the interaction of what happened over there with the dudaim. So there it is. The Midrash was talking about this particular pasuk in Parashat Vayechi, that Reuven went to the field and he found the dudaim, and he brought them to Leah, and Rachel out of nowhere comes out, Vatomer Rachel Leah, Pnina li midudai benech. Let me have the dudaim that belong to your son. So this would make sense because Rachel was barren. She had no children. Leah was already on her fourth child, maybe even fifth child at this point. And Zevulun was already alive. So why? So Rachel says, "Give me the dudaim," and Leah has a strong reaction, and she says, "Hame'ad kachtech et ishi velakacht gam et dudai." It's not enough that you have my man, but you married my husband, but you also want the dudaim that my son gave me. And Rachel says, I'll give you in return, I'll make you a deal. Tonight's my turn to be with Yaakov. I'll pass it on to you in return for this dudaim. What's going on over here? So on a pshat level, we could begin to understand that maybe it's because Rachel wants to conceive, and that's why she's asking for the dudaim. But one of the things that you should know about these dudaim is anybody who's barren, it can't help them. It's only somebody who already conceived from before and is experiencing difficulties, it realigns things up. So Rachel Imenu surely knows that the only way to conceive is by tefillah, by pleading to Hashem for mercy, not to eat berries. Nevertheless, she goes through this exercise with her sister Leah. And why is that? Rachel was a prophetess. She knew that tonight is the night that the Torah learner comes into this world. Tonight is the night that Issachar is able to be a part of the reality of this world and can be one of the tribes. But since she's still barren, and since she can't conceive, it would be a waste of a night with Yaakov. But who can conceive? It would be Leah. And Rachel creates this scenario in order for Leah to be with Yaakov on that night, and in order for the Torah learner, for Issachar, to come into this world. So now we can take a look at the blessing of Issachar in two ways. Issachar chamor garem. Issachar, if it wasn't for the donkey, you would never be in this world. If it wasn't for the donkey that pulled out the mandrake plant, pulled out the dudaim, and Rachel Imenu did this whole plot with Leah, you would never be in this world. Issachar chamor garem. Issachar, the donkey caused you to come into this world. However, there's an additional pasuk that will give us an unbelievable ending to this Dvar Torah. There's a pasuk in Yirmiyah that says, that notes a conversation between Rachel and HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And it says, Ko amar Hashem, Menei kolech mibechi ve'enaich midima. Hashem tells Rachel, stop crying and wipe your tears away from your eyes. Ki yesh sachar lepaulatayich. There is reward for your actions. Ne'um Hashem. Hashem gives a promise. Veshavu me'eretz oyev. Your children will come back from the land of the enemy. Ve'esh tikva la'achitech. Ne'um Hashem. And there is hope for the end of time. Veshavu banim ligvulam. And your children will come back to live within their borders. Inside these two pesukim from Yirmiyah, there's a cryptic message that is connected to Issachar. As it says over there, Ki yesh sachar lepaulatech, that there is a reward for your actions. don't read it Issachar lepaulatech in the context of Yirmiyah, that it's a mother crying for her children to come back to their homeland, but rather ki Issachar lepaulatech, that if it wasn't for your pe'ulah, if it wasn't for your actions, Issachar wouldn't be. So ki Issachar, because Issachar became a reality in this world, lepaulatech, because of your actions. Shabbat Shalom Vorach.